Well, I'm joined now by Deeptika Laurent for a look at the newspapers. Hi there, Deeptika. Let's start, shall we? We're looking at the plight of a refugee Bahraini footballer who lives in Australia, and he's now facing extradition back to his home country.
That's right. Hakim El Araibi, he was on a one-week honeymoon to Thailand when he was detained by Thai authorities over an Interpol red notice alert out for him. That was over 2 months ago. He's been languishing in a Thai prison since then, and he's actually just spoken to the Sydney Morning Herald from inside his prison, telling the Australian paper of his desire for freedom, his fear of being executed back home by Bahraini authorities. Now, his supporters say his arrest is politically motivated, that Bahrain accuses him of having vandalized a police station, but in reality it's because he publicly criticized a member of the royal family. Anyway, he's now facing extradition back to Bahrain. The French sports paper L'Equipe is reporting that former Australian captain Craig Foster actually handed in a petition to FIFA's headquarters in Zurich this Monday with 50,000 signatures calling on the football body to help protect him from extradition.
OK, we'll keep a close eye on that story. Now, you've been looking at reaction to plans for an eventual peace deal brokered between the United States and the Taliban. Tell us more.
That's right. The US's war in Afghanistan is 17 years old now. It's the longest war that the US has waged. In fact, the New York Times on its website says it's longer than the 2 world wars and the Korean War combined. Now, after 6 days of talks, the US says that a framework for peace has been set, but the details are kind of murky. The Washington Post's editors say a preliminary deal appears to offer the US a way out of Afghanistan, but mostly on the enemy's terms. The Post concerned that the deal has no guarantees that the government or political order that it's been defending for the past 17 years will survive. Now, from the Kabul Times, it's a local paper in Afghanistan, they say that any deal must involve the Afghan government. Peace begins with intra-Afghan dialogue and the Taliban, it says, without those countries seeking their own interests in a destabilized Afghanistan.
OK, well, the New York Times is looking at a key figure at those very talks that you were just describing there. I'm talking about Abdulghani Baradar, who was appointed by the Taliban to head up the office that it has in Qatar.
That's right. He's actually a co-founder of the Taliban and was appointed to be chief negotiator in these talks with the U.S. That's what the New York Times is reporting. Described as charismatic and deeply religious, he actually held talks with the Afghan government, secret talks, in 2009. Back then, he was arrested by Pakistan, which was a major backer of the Taliban, in what was seen as a harsh message not to engage in political processes. Now, his seniority in the Taliban is raising hopes that he'll also be able to sell any kind of peace deal that he strikes with the U.S. to the more militant members of the Taliban.
OK, just staying with the US, a lot of reaction has come in with regard to the announcement by Howard Schultz, the Starbucks tycoon, that he might be in the running for the top job in the US.
That's right, and he was positively roasted for that, if you'll allow me to use that pun. As the Democratic pool of candidates widens, Schultz has said he wants to run as he might run as an independent, a decision that much of the press is urging him not to do. The New York Times saying, please don't run for president, explaining that if he does, he might inadvertently end up helping Donald Trump get reelected by taking votes away from major Democratic candidates. They called his campaign a, quote, narcissistic spoiler campaign, saying it's mere megalomaniacal recklessness.
Goodness me, quite a lot of adjectives there. Now, an award ceremony in Dubai, which was supposed to honour gender equality, has left its organisers a little bit red in the face. Tell us why.
The Huffington Post is bringing the story of the Gender Balance Index Awards, meant to honour people, government bodies and initiatives embodying gender equality. So great idea in theory, right? Well, it would have been had the 4 recipients not been all men, as you see in these pictures from the Huffington Post there. It sparked scorn and derision online, some wondering if it was indeed just a joke, others wondering if the authorities had just forgotten to invite all the women to the ceremony.
OK, rather an embarrassing one there. Well, let's just stay on the topic of gender, because very briefly, there's a new fashion trend emerging, and it's for men.
That's right. Men have, long been overshadowed on the red carpet. Well, it's a matter of time before a new trend, the trend of 2019 for men. It's all about the designer harness. It first appeared in designer Virgil Abloh's inaugural 2019 collection. He was inspired by Michael Jackson's Super Bowl performance in '93 when he wore a gold harness. Apparently, harnesses are all the rage. They've gone from, a form of submission and control on the gay bondage scene right onto the red carpet, looking to be a staple of the red carpet. Although the one in the picture behind me doesn't really look like a harness. It looks like one of those toddler leashes. I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
I'm just thinking that I probably won't be wearing one on air tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed. Deeptika Laurent. Remember, you can check out Deeptika's page on the France 24 website. Just click on the tab in the papers.